This is a real quick snare lesson. What I do is when I put a drum head on, I always put the logo. I pretty much, I guess, always use Remos on the snare. But I will always, I'm sure a lot of guys do, but I always put, let's say, this at noon, and then, the throw will always be at 9, so you can always flip it on and off or adjust it with your hand. I mean, you can do it here, too, but sometimes if the drum's across, you'll hit it with your leg. And I used to study with a guy named Phil Stanger, who always insisted that it would go over here, so there it is. But what I did was, again, I said in another video that this is a mid-70s super sensitive Ludwig 411, I guess, that I took the mechanism off. Whoops. And put a throw on that made it essentially just converted into a superphonic. But what I did is I put, normally the tone control would go here, not that it makes a difference, and the drum has snare beds. But when Ludwig makes snare drums, at least since the early 60s, when they put the tone control on, the tone control would always be, if here's the 9 o'clock, the tone control would always be here, or here, I forgot, but it's always in this region, which I always found odd because you always had to reach over and go like this. So what I did is I drilled this drum so the tone control, which would have been here, came here. So I can just with the same hand control the tone control. By the way, I think Ludwig should reinstall tone controls in their snare drums. I know they do it on like those black acrylites. So you see over there, all the 5x14 acrylites, acrylites have tone controls. I don't know why they don't put them in the superphonics. I mean, you can always take it out if you don't like it or whatever. Anyway, so that's what I do. And I also, on my throw off, I don't know if you can see this, but I put that on my, here's the throw lever, and I put this here, so you can, so what'll happen is over time when you play, your snare wires will start to loosen. So I put this there so I get, it's essentially to cross, noon, 6, 9, 3. But this way I know if it's like, as I start playing, I'll look down, I'll see, sort of know where the pattern is. And if I see that suddenly this thing turn, I know it's slowly unwinding, and I just crank it back to the position that I like when it's tuned. So I guess Ludwig or somebody could do that too. They could put like little edges in there or whatever, because these things will always spin over time. And also too, usually on a snare drum, you'll always have a tension rod, usually where you strike the drum, will always loosen. So that always seems to be the case too. So occasionally, at least on these supers or supers that I have to retighten. Usually this one should be right here by my left hand, right here. So usually when I hit the drum, I'll usually strike it here. So typically this will sort of loosen. So every so often you just got to tighten that one back. So.